Shore, needing nothing more, just you. Watch the sun as it falls out of view. I'm lost in the blue, so true. I'm sleeping in the sun. I feel the sand as it slips between your toes. Feel the wind, it blows so warm. Floating
Well, you're tuned in to the Barry and Joe Show, and I'm very excited to bring on this time Kyle from the String Cheese Incident. Hello.
How you guys doing today? How you doing today?
Oh, good. How are you, man? Thanks for coming on.
Good.
Where are you right now in this part of the globe at this point in time, besides on your phone? Where are you right now?
Exactly. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and I am home from a long summer tour. Only home for about 3 weeks, but I'm here quickly. My little pool in the backyard looks green. How do I fix that? Okay, blah, blah, blah. I need to go for bike rides. I need to go to the dentist. Like all the stuff you have to get done between tours, essentially. But I'm home.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's something that we don't actually really talk about a lot. Like, you guys are a touring band, but you're human beings. And you got stuff you got to do.
Listen, I asked Glenn Phillips from Toad the Wet Sprocket once because Joe lost a tooth on the program once, and we had to reschedule some shows. And I asked Glenn Phillips, I was like, does that ever happen to you? Do you ever need to go to the dentist in an emergency? And he answered, no. I was like surprised. Does anything like that ever happen to you? Do you have to anybody break a finger or anything?
That's one of my actually that exact moment is really funny for me. It hasn't really happened to String Cheese. I mean, everybody, weird things here happen here and there. But I was about to sit in with Humphreys McGee on side stage, and I had my in-ears in, and I was about to go out and play with Joel, and the drummer they were kind of doing some banter back and forth, and they'll talk back oh my gosh, this is so funny. Everybody go to key B. And then the drummer all of a sudden said, dude, I just chipped my tooth. I can't play anymore. I just chipped my tooth. You have to stop playing. And I assumed it was a joke because they've been joking for the last 5 minutes about other stuff. I said, ha ha ha, and went out to go and play. And then all of a sudden they stopped playing and he went off stage. I was like, okay, I guess that wasn't a joke.
Hi, everybody. Oh, hi, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's good. Yeah, I think we all forget that people have families and you got responsibilities, and it's nice to hear that you're getting yourself checked out and you're not just wasting away.
Yes, and cleaning the algae in the pool.
Cleaning the algae in the pool. Very important things. But
exactly.
But now when you're back in Boulder, and my main question to you today is, and I'm glad you're back in Boulder because we get to talk about it, is craft beers. Because you're, I heard from a friend of a friend. My old roommate was a huge fan, so he gave me a lot of info about you, and he says that you are a big craft beer guy.
I have been for many years. I started when I was pretty young. I was homebrewing when I was probably 17. So probably wasn't legally able to drink the beer I was creating. But at the time, it was fun to experiment with. I would get sassafras roots, from the backyard, or some weird other adjunct, and I'd just create something that usually didn't taste great, but it was really neat to see the fermentation process. And I created something completely out of scratch, and nature took over and created this fermented beverage. So for me, it was a little bit like my journey of playing music. You just kind of throw all the ingredients together, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it isn't. But it's the experimentation that's fun.
Yeah, well, I mean that leads to the jam band roots.
See, you know what?
Exactly.
I think you guys, it comes down to chemistry because, I don't know if you know this, probably don't, but I'm an amateur beekeeper, and
nice.
Barry's got the mead going on.
That's what you can do with honey is you can ferment it and add a bunch of stuff to it. So I get it when you compare.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Chemistry, yeah, it's kind of congruent,
How are your hives doing? Are you getting any kind of what's it called, hive crash or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah, the hive disease that you told me about, Barry.
No, we're rocking
going around that you're keeping away from.
No, the mites. We don't have any mites, but we just pulled 400 gallons of honey out of our hive. So I think you're doing okay there, man. We're fine over here in SoCal.
Nice, that's great.
Oh yeah, Barry's got some sage honey going on. That's really good. So I'm very excited about that. But awesome. One of the reasons I wanted to bring up the beer thing because I have a very interesting connection to your band because of beer. Oh. And you might know this, out in Colorado, there is a great brewery called New Belgium, right?
Of course. Yeah. Fort
Okay,
Collins. Yeah.
so okay, so we are going back to the 90s. Now, I'm a California boy. I've been here my whole life, Southern California, and we would go out to Colorado and see some bands. And my friend Kevin, fell into you guys, and he would go out to Colorado like once a year to go see you. And I loved those trips because New Belgium didn't have a distributor in Southern California. So my
right.
distributor was Kevin Lathrop, and he would drive to Colorado and he would see a couple of your shows at like Red Rocks or some other place. And then he would go and he would fill up his Honda with literally cases upon cases of Fat Tire. And he would drive them all the way back to Los Angeles. And we would have an entire summer of Fat Tire beer. And it was great. And it was all because of String Cheese. And I loved it.
That's amazing. Hold on. Let me switch from my AirPods, which are dying, to my phone. Hold on one second.
Hey, that happened to us twice today. That's interesting. It's like there must be something going on in the energy field.
Oh,
well, wait. So I do have to speak to that very specifically because I just played in Bend with String Cheese probably about 10 days ago. And my story of Bend was exactly the same. So we would go to Bend, and Deschutes Brewing Company is out of Bend.
Yes.
And we couldn't find Black Butte Porter anywhere in Colorado. So we would get cases of it. We got some fans at the brewery would give us what they call half fills, or things they couldn't sell. So we would just get cases of half fills and this is back in the day when you can actually put them on a plane. And you could go through security, everything, and you put them above your head as you're flying across the country. So it was almost, and so we would just take cases and cases of this Black Butte Porter. And I don't know if you guys ever saw Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh yeah,
but that they were smuggling Coors, and that was in the truck. They were bringing Coors across the country to, I don't know, or somewhere south. So it was kind of a version of my Smoking the Bandit. It was taking the Deschutes Brewery.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Yeah, we did it with Fat Tire. My buddy did drive out cases of Yingling from Pittsburgh once too. That was fantastic. Man, those are the days back in the 90s when you're like cruised around the country just like finding new beers. It was awesome.
Well, I took it a step further because I was a brewer. So I've brewed probably, over 40 national beers with people, Sierra Nevada.
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
One of my first ones actually was with Fat Tire. What's the name of them again? I'm sorry.
New Belgium?
Yeah, New Belgium was one of my first ones, actually. And I forget the name, but we'd always name it. And some of them were good enough, actually. They made it into rotation. I made one with Alice Cooper's guitar player. We went down to Stone Brewing Company and had a big jam down there with all the guys from Stone.
In San Diego, right?
San Diego, yeah. And then it was called Collective Distortion, and it was available everywhere across the United States.
Nice.
And then
great name.
A Hoopla I made, which is a national distribution out of Boulder Beer. So everywhere I go, I try to connect with the breweries and say, hey, would you be interested in either brewing together or doing a one-off? I'm just really into the process, and it's kind of a cool, fun hook that I can get people.
Wow, that's awesome. About. See, Barry, you thought we were going to have Kyle on and talk about music. I just totally like sidetracked us to beer brewing. It's awesome.
Hey, dude, I'm into it. Kyle, you ever come down to SoCal? You ever been to those? They look like amusement parks, but they're breweries. I think Stone has one down in San Diego.
Oh, yeah, he was just talking about Stone. Angel City.
I'm trying to think. Did they actually physically have rides, or they're just beautiful like they could be?
They're like waterfalls. I don't think there's a ride.
Yeah. I've been to Stone. Stone's done it, and then someone like Asheville, somewhere in Asheville, there, people are starting to get hip to make your brewery trap small chimpanzees and put them in cages, and then have a giraffe on a leash.
Oh yeah, well, let's not do that. But like Firestone up in Santa Barbara County has like a real nice spread out there, because I think a lot of the breweries saw what the wineries were doing and were like, oh man,
wait a minute,
I want a piece of that.
Exactly right.
So can you answer this about the band? We're talking about wineries and breweries and stuff.
Mhm.
Can you think of one of the most like elegant or surprising places you guys have played? That's like, whoa, I didn't even realize this was a thing.
Well, on this last trip, and it's kind of relates, is McMillan's. We played down there. I played up in Portland.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. I had no idea that I knew they kind of taken what you just mentioned, but to a whole next level. There's like massages backstage and, juice bars. And then there's, lawns, and then there's like croquet and all this other thing. So that was very surprising, this particular tour. But overall, probably one of the first times I played Red Rocks was epic, standing on that stage and looking out and from the other side for the first time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then be like,
Yeah.
what's this
I can
about?
see that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, wow, that's a totally different view.
Exactly. Here and there throughout the years has been some special places.
Okay. Hey, you know what? That actually, you besides playing music and you got fans and stuff, you're also a fan, right? So like,
Yeah.
who right now? Okay, who has been like your longtime favorite band, and who are you into like right now? Who's like really like hitting you right now?
Good point. I'll just pull up my trusty playlist thing going on right now.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm getting right into it. All right.
Well, I did. I think I saw it was Phil Lesh was playing with them. The band. Wait, I'm scrolling down.
No worries, no worries. Barry can edit out anything we don't like.
Yeah.
In
fingers.
the early days, Dawes was the people I just checked out just recently. DAWES.
Oh yeah, Dawes is
them?
really good. Yeah.
And I think we were doing a show. We were supposed to do a show last year with Phil Lesh, and he'd been out with them. I was like, "Who are these guys?" So then I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is really intriguing writing, really focused on lyrics and vocal forward." So just the last couple of bike rides, I've been checking out their albums. In the past, it was probably I got out of college. I studied jazz in college, and we got all the standards, all the Herbies, and all of that, and Chick Corea and Oscar Peterson. But then I was like, man, I was driving with college students driving down the road, and I was like, what is this music? It has a great piano, has harmonica and a banjo. I was like, Bela Fleck and something, Flecktones.
Ooh,
So I was like, Bela Fleck and Fleck. This is amazing. This is 1986, 87. Really cool. And I was really into the Spin Doctors at that point in time. And so the Spin Doctors and Bela went on tour with the first time something called Horde. And the Horde went out with some weird band called Fish and another band called Widespread Panic. I'd never heard of any of those bands.
Some weird band, yeah.
Weird
Whatever
band.
happened to them?
What? And ARU was there, so I really dug ARU, and I was there to see Bela, and I saw the Spin Doctors, and I was like, okay, enough of the other bands. I'm gonna leave. So I was like, I don't care about Fish. I'm gonna go. I want to go see if I can sneak backstage and talk to Bela. So that was kind of the early inspiration, and then ironically, like 4 years later, we were playing with Bela I was playing with Bela with String Cheese at Telluride Bluegrass. So I was like, this totally happened right overnight. Yeah, it's weird.
See, it's like I love those stories that open up your perspective to music. Like when I was like in college, I was like big into ska and punk. It was like late '90s. I grew up in Orange County and in Fullerton, so it's like No Doubt and Real Big Fish and like
Right.
all that stuff. And then I go through college. I'm still
Let's keep on dancing.
See, so I went through all of that, and then like I had a job at one of my first jobs in LA was at the college department of MCA Records, and the first day I walk in, I meet this guy named Fred, who also worked at KCRW. He's like the guy who he was like really good friends with Beck, and he like broke Beck back in the day. Really nice guy. Anyway, he was like, "Hey, so what do you want to listen to?" I was like, "Oh, well, I'm a big Blink fan." He's like, "We've been playing that a lot. How about Fela?" I was like, "Who?" He's like,
Yeah,
"Fela
there you
Kuti.
go.
Let me put it on." I was like, and man, I listened to that album, that blew my mind. I was just like, the Black President album was like, just opened me up to so many different types of music that it was world changing to me, kind of like the Bela Fleck moment. So I love
it's
those
funny
kind of
because
stories.
prior to Bela, when I was much younger, well, when I was like in high school, I backed myself into Bela in the fact that I was really into the Talking Heads. And I still am. I was
okay.
I was like, My Life in the Bush of Ghosts, Remain in Light. I was like, what is this? That was one of the moments. I was like, what is that, a guitar? Is Adrian Blue playing, right? Is that a guitar? What is the sound? Who's Brian Eno's? And then I found out about Brian Eno, and then I figured out like why they're influenced by Bela. So I went down that route, and it was really, in that way, I was like, am I high, or is this really, I am high, but is it really,
music, man.
Really amazingly intense and great, or am I just thinking that it is? And I'd go back and like, no, this is really well put together, intriguing art, more than
right. And then that led you to jazz, and then then jazz just really lends itself to the jam band lifestyle that you found yourself in. Like, so I don't know if people really get that though. Can you kind of like explain to them how jazz arrangements kind of like mirror what you guys do in string cheese?
I would say it would be you start with a form, and then you can expand beyond the form or expand within the form once you've played what I would consider the head or the first verse of Texas of one of our songs. You're like, okay, we've done this and this and this. Now this whole middle section can be something completely new or something that's greater than the rest of the song itself. In the same way you listen to the Miles Davis composition or some of that, like Four and More, that live album, My Funny Valentine, Four and More, and they just take the melodies, and then once they play it, they're like, okay, that's done. We're going to go on for another 15 minutes, and then we'll come back to the melody at some point.
Right.
So in
and
the same way,
something new and different every time.
Exactly. So that's why I think the name Incident was put, into the ethos. I wasn't there for the naming, but with that, every show would be different. Every show would be.
No, that's fantastic. Eric?
Yeah, no, I'm just digging it. And so are you enjoying being off stage right now? I mean, is that a rare occurrence? Because you seem to be playing all the time everywhere I go.
We were more so than in the last year than we have been over the last few years. The last few years we've been kind of just doing festivals and maybe one run. But this last year, since it's our 30th anniversary,
hey, congratulations!
Oh, man, that's a long time.
Let's play more and make sure we hit all the markets we don't necessarily always hit, like Bend, Oregon, or Arkansas, or someplace. So we're pushing it harder. We also have a new album coming out, which is very exciting. So we're pushing that too. So there's a lot of kind of variables that make us kind of work harder this year.
When is the new album coming out?
New album will be coming out. Good point. I think September 8th or 9th.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're going to be on tour like starting the 2nd.
We're going to have Willie Nelson. Yeah,
You're playing like all kinds of dates, man. You're going to go all over the place.
Yeah, but first, the first one, it's a really easy track. You start in Alaska, and then your next show is only in North Carolina. Exactly. Who is your booking manager? How did this happen?
It has been actually. It has been a little intense for me as far as like the some of these dates. I'm like, wait a minute, what? We can't even make that in a day.
That's like you have 6 days or 5 days in between Alaska and North Carolina, but that's like 5,000 miles.
Exactly. It's like I'm getting my miles in. But no. But the album's cool. Like, it's the first time, we went into it with this idea, at least in my mind, let's do a Working Man's Dead. Let's do a Reckoning. Let's do an acoustic or rootsy type album with string cheese. Less soloing, more song, more vocal forward. And we found a great producer, Brad, that helped us sculpt the album in very, almost exactly what our vision was. And it came out great. I mean, I worked with Sam Beam, who's Iron and Wine. You know Iron and Wine, the band?
Oh yeah, I love them.
So I flew down and worked with Sam and wrote a couple tunes with him. Billy did some writing. There's like maybe one solo. There's a lot of acoustic mandolin. It's all just 3.5-minute songs. The whole album takes up, I'm guessing, 36 minutes, and that's 11 songs. And so we are just excited to have this new direction and also a new take on how to make an album versus like, hey, let's play a bunch of notes on a recording that we also could do live. And Brad was like, no. You can do all those notes when I'm not here. You can go the songs, the extended versions, but when you're with me, it's going to be vocals and everybody just plays quietly.
Okay. So do you think this is like the evolution of a great band? Because a lot of bands can't get through that hump. You know, they never change. And it seems like you guys are ahead of it and very, very smart. When it sounds to me like you're kind of changing up the game in order to, get a bigger reach.
It wasn't the curve was heading in that direction, but I don't think it was hugely intentional in that way. It just kind of came together.
That's cool.
It felt like the right time to do it. And it just felt for me when I was thinking about the album, I just thought about what the fans might want to hear. It's like, you need to bring a story, and it's not that the whole album is a story, but it feels like that more so than our last random singles we put out. The one's bluegrass, one's Kyle's electro funk, and one's this one has a storyline, it has a theme, and I felt like it was time to do something like that. So it just worked out. So we're psyched.
So there was no like Beach Boys moment between Brian Wilson and Mike Love saying, we're a legacy act. No, we're going to make new music. We're a legacy. It wasn't like that. You weren't fighting over a fire.
There was a moment, the more didgeridoos. No, there was less didgeridoos.
Less banjo, more rain stick.
Exactly.
Well, I want to touch on real quick about merch, because your band is kind of unlike any other. And your merch is out of this world, man. I love the merch. I wonder, how does that do for you as a band? Do you come up with the artwork within the band? How does that go?
Oh, yeah. Who are your artists? Because
we've been kind of doing it in-house for a very long time, much like most of our stuff. So what you're looking at right now, Lend Me a Hand, that actually, the album cover is actually my brother. That's a giant painting on top of a barn door.
Nice. In the family.
Probably, I don't really know for a fact, probably 8 feet tall, 6 feet wide. And so we took the barn door and then we put Lend Me a Hand on it, on the left side. So yeah, so it's all these different textures. And then on the right, that's a Mike Tallman. Mike Tallman's a friend who does a lot of my cat shirts. Yeah, so like we're trying to freshen up the merch look. It's usually whoever we can find to do the artwork.
Whoever we can find, just like out on a street corner. Hey, look at
exactly you.
Well, also
look at you. Can you draw? Here's some crayons.
I mean, and a lot of times you go to your favorite band site to try to buy stuff, and they got like 4 things. You have 287 results of your store. You got a big store. You got a Walmart going on, Kyle.
Oh yeah, it's a small Walmart. Yeah. No, it's funny. Actually, I never go to the merch site, so I'm curious what you're seeing. It's one of those.
You're seeing what I'm seeing.
I bet like we sell probably the same T-shirt, they've owned the same 5 items all the time, and then the rest of them are one-offs.
Well, it's cool. It's definitely like a club. Your band is more than music; it's a club.
Yeah, nice.
So okay.
Oh, you're still doing pins too.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah. The pin exchanges are still going on too. I love those things.
I know. I don't know where that came from. It's so bizarre.
I love it.
Like, what are you looking at?
It's like, you go to a show and there's a new pin and you get it and you exchange it with other pins and you get all the pins on a hat. Oh man, it's a good time. It's like the only like collectible I still do.
Nice.
Like, look, you got like the Wilmington, North Carolina pin. See, it's like, oh man, that's great. It's like the Disney pins, but for string cheese. It's awesome.
Yes. I think it's also like a lot of jam bands are doing that now. But
hey, yeah, no, because you can see, like, look, this Jamaican Lion's head pin. I just want to get it because it looks.
I know.
New York deep dish, Chicago deep dish pizza pin.
It's just so creative, man.
Oh man, I love it.
There's 200 things that are creative, and you can. It's just so cool, man. So Kyle,
I'd say like Barry and I are like marketing and promotion too. So we like love merch. We're like looking. Oh, look at this butterfly pin. I mean, see, it's like, oh man,
it's dope, dude.
All right, it's what is the website? Tell them the website, Barry.
Just go to stringcheeseincident.com, click on the SCI gear, and the link will be in our description. But before we get Kyle out of here, I want to play a song, but I want to play Kyle's favorite song that he likes playing. Not necessarily that came out good in the studio, but the one that's just the most, like when we see you live, you're going to look at Kyle and go, look at him go.
Look at that big old smile on his face. Yeah.
Oh, man. Really good question. I mean, Rosie's probably up there, which is fun to play.
That's a great song to dance to, too.
Colliding is kind of fun, too. I happen to sing that one. But honestly, the more obscure ones are always the kind of fun. But I think the ones that would be more appropriate now would be more the bangers. So like something like Rosie would be cool, or Let's Go Outside is always fun. Something like that.
Yeah, let's play Rosie.
Yeah, let's play Rosie. It's probably about a girl, I hope, or a guitar.
No, actually, it's about my daughter wrote it because we went to I was playing the riff, boop a da boop a bap bap bap, and she was like, "That sounds like a spider." I said, "Really?"
Sounds like a spider.
Or your fingers, or maybe it's a bit ba 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 do ba do, it's a bit spider or something. Or my fingers are looking like spiders. She goes, and so then the next day we went to the Science Museum in Broomfield, Colorado, and there was a spider there named Rosie. And she goes, "That's the song. That's your song right there. That's Rosie." And I said, "Oh my God, you're right." So you can hold Rosie in your hands and everything. And so I brought it to the band, and the band loved it. And so I think the lyrics are, "Rosie, have no fear for you. Rosie, I know who you are." I don't know, but the idea was spider related.
I hate spiders. Love this song.
Yeah, man. I love it. Kyle, we'll see you in the fall. The String Cheese Incident is on tour now. The new album is coming out soon. Thanks for coming on the show.
Right on. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Take care.